Do you think Kendrick is going to perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl?
Indubitably. It's Kendrick's biggest song. I'm not going off of the impact that it had on Drake and his position in all of it. I love Kendrick and I've always respected his work, but there have been times where he got a little deep. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to catch the next one. You feel me?
Yeah.
This is one where whether you enjoy the art or whether you just enjoy some jamming and music, he brought all of it together.
You know, this is lighthearted, and this doesn't necessarily apply to everyone in our community, but we have to stop limiting ourselves when it comes to intellect. And I know that this is subconscious, just when it comes to how we assess things on an intellectual level in regards to certain people of our community who want to push beyond what they know. You know what I mean? Who want to understand things beyond just the regular conventional aspect of what we know, the certain words we use, so on and so forth. So T.I., he uses a word like indubitably, which means without a doubt. And a lot of people aren't privy to that word. We shouldn't scoff at it. You know, a lot of people, especially our people, you look at the comments and you see them scoffing at it to a degree where you can tell that it's one of those things where we limit ourselves. Now, I know that, okay, T.I., he like to use the big words, ha, ha, ha. But at the same time, we should admire that. You know, we shouldn't like limit ourselves. It's kind of like that crabs in a barrel mentality. But we want to just limit ourselves to what we understand. You know, we want to just be in this stasis of this conventional wisdom and not understand what's beyond what we know. And that's beyond just diction. That's beyond just words. T.I. just using certain words that's beyond what a lot of people know or what a lot of people are privy to. You want to add words to your lexicon, you know? You want to extend and, you know, enhance your vocabulary. You want to articulate yourself better. How do you do that? You add more words to your lexicon. You learn more words. And this is what brings me to this scripture here in Ecclesiasticus, aka Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 15, where it says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small." It's just saying, be not ignorant of anything big or small. You want to know as much as possible. It's okay to know things. You know, there's this connotation. I mean, nowadays it's not as strong as it used to be, but it's a connotation on knowledge, just when it comes to so-called black people. You notice in other cultures or nations, there's no connotation on intellect. Like no one is scoffed at for being smart. When I was young, I was always, oh, there go Junie, because they used to call me Junie. You know, and my nickname is Junie. They Junie the smart one. He the one. He think he better than everybody. He the smart one. I was like the black sheep because, you know, I really, you know, put high regard, or I really put like emphasis on being smart or just wanting to learn and know things. You know, I exalted that. That was something that I put in high regard. So as you get older, you really understand it's like it's a real discrepancy when it comes to us and the aspect of intellect alone. Now, there's a lot of our people that's intellect, that's intelligent, that have, you know, smarts and that's astute, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the majority of our people, man, we don't uphold these things that we should. We glorify nonsense. And it just speaks to the negative aspect of our community where we look at the positives as something that's you know, something to be laughed at. Like you should want to learn. You should want to know more. You should want to know as much words as possible. You know, this is why I come on here and, you know, I say certain things that's beyond what people may understand in regards to diction, in regards to words. But for the most part, I'm sure a lot of you understand because I already know the type of people that's on this channel, just when it comes to the intellect of these brothers that's on here. But for the most part, it's like, yo, we should not be limiting ourselves. And we do it subconsciously. It's not even like a conscious thing where, you know, for example, you have certain people who laugh at T.I. when it comes to the wording, certain words that he knows, like big words, quote unquote. I don't even like the concept of big words. We shouldn't look at that because when we say big words, it's like we limit ourselves. We just don't understand that we're doing that. Oh, why are you using them big words? It's a word. Learn it. You know, you use words like obsequious and presumptuous. People laugh at you. It's like, no, I like the word. I feel it's important for me to add to my lexicon and, you know, enhance my vocabulary, articulate myself in a better way. I'm going to add that to my lexicon. I'm going to use the word. It's not corny. It's me being myself. We have to stop limiting ourselves. We have to stop doing that. We must put smarts and intellect and intelligence on a pedestal. We must uphold these things. Not on a pedestal greater than the Most High, but we must value it, is what I'm saying. Now, this right here just speaks to my point. This is all prophecy. All this is spiritual. Everything about the phenomena of this world, especially when it comes to our people, is spiritual. In regards to why subconsciously we limit ourselves when it comes to intellect, so on and so forth. It's all spiritual. We've all been destroyed for lack of knowledge, for lack of understanding of our God. That connection has been broken off. But, as per the scriptures, I believe that's in Baruch 2:30, it says, in our captivities that we shall remember ourselves. Or Baruch 2:30 is going into the stiff neck aspect. It's one of them scriptures where it talks about how we shall remember ourselves in these last days. So it's very important that we understand things in context. We're waking up in these last days. So, we're coming to the understanding. We're further coming into the understanding. But Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. Thy children is talking about us in these days. And when it comes to the understanding of the forgetful aspect, when the Most High says, I shall forget thy children, it means that we've been broken off from him. But like I said, in these last days, we're waking up. That's why the Most High says that we shall wake up in our captivities. Just paraphrasing the scripture where it talks about how we shall remember ourselves. It's going into the aspect of waking up to who we are. We've been cut off through the annals of time due to lies and the people in power where they pretty much tell us lies. We've been born to a matrix, so on and so forth. So you take all that into consideration. Born into this matrix, we've been told lies. The spiritual aspect allows us to understand things on a certain level where everything comes together, because we living in these last days. So the Most High is gathering certain people that he wants to hopefully be saved. That's why we gotta stay repentant, and we have to follow the commandments to the best of our ability if we want to inherit the kingdom, because that's what it's all about in these days. That's what it's all about. Right. So yeah, man, the understanding, just when it comes to knowledge, it's a constant. It's like one of the very few things that's a constant, just when it comes to the intangible knowledge, the spiritual aspect, time, those things that's intangible. Those are constants. And we should put knowledge on a pedestal. We should uphold knowledge. We should value knowledge. It's very, very important. You see, our people, we love simplicity. This is why I always say everything is spiritual, because it's at its heights with us. That's how you know that we are the Israelites according to the scriptures, because when it comes to what's prophesied in these scriptures, it applies to us heavily, as well as the historic aspect. But just when it comes to the prophecies, we can prove that this is talking about us, because it applies to us heavily. It's exaggerated with us heavily. Like, this is talking about us, right? How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? In the black community, don't we uphold simplicity over, context, over three-dimensional thought, over having a sound mind, where you dig into the crates in regards to deciphering and dissecting things on a dimension of beyond the surface, for lack of a better expression. A lot of our people don't like to tap into that. We like simplicity. We uphold and glorify things that's based in simplicity. A lot of our people are simple-minded, severely simple-minded, to the point where it's like you don't even want to have a conversation with certain people. You want to be an introvert to a degree, because you understand the majority of people, especially in our community, are simple as hell. Simple-minded as hell. So this scripture applies heavily. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Yes. A lot of our people, we're resentful towards knowledge. We're resentful towards learning. When you try to talk to somebody about something that's substantive other than basketball or hip hop or weed or, silly, frivolous stuff like that, they don't want to hear it after a while. It becomes boring to them for the most part when it comes to our people, because we uphold simplicity. We uphold silly stuff. We don't really care about knowledge and, trying to improve as a man when it comes to intellect. For the most part, obviously, there's a portion of our people who do. But the majority, especially these mindless people, all they care about is nonsense. Nonsense. The everyday conversation of so-called black people is nonsensical. There's no substance at all. And that's how you know that these scriptures, they apply to us, because it's all prophecy. You know? How long will ye simple ones hate knowledge? Proverbs 15:1 and verse 2. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools purreth out foolishness. So it's important. We already understand a soft answer turneth away wrath. You don't have to match a person's intensity. It's okay to be like, all right, you got it. Because at the end of the day, you're bigger than that. You're bigger than that. That's beneath you. You got bigger fish to fry. Don't stoop to that level and put yourself in the mud. Cast your pearls before the swine. Don't do that. Even matching that level is you casting your pearls before the swine, because you've given into that person's shenanigans. You've given into that person's snares and traps. Don't fall for it. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. So it's important. This is all contextual. That's why you have this first verse and then this second verse following, because it's all about the timing, the cadence. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. If you're wise, then you're not gonna fall into the pit. You're not gonna, get all ensnared by a person that want to go back and forth with you with that intensity and that wrath and that nonsense, that chaos, that corrosive chaos, arguing and, getting further into nonsense. But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. And, certain things happen where a fool could meet his demise based off of his mouth. Right? That's why it's very important timing, understanding. This all has to do with knowledge and wisdom. We must walk in it.